Cancer, welcome to my channel. It's Romy here. I appreciate you tuning in. If you're Cancer sun, rising or moon, this reading may resonate for you. My soul stories are a blend of the tarot, working with my guides and checking out the astrological influences for this month ahead. And if you are enjoying my work, please do drop me a like and a comment. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll dive right in here and just see what comes out for you for this month. Okay, Cancer, so Virgo season is lighting up your third house of communication. So this month there's going to be this really interesting reflection on force versus flow. So the way that you're choosing to express yourself, the way that you are approaching your work, the style, the rhythm, the amount that you're working, all of these things are going to be under a bit of a review as we move through this month ahead. We open up your September soul story with the energy of the star, which is really beautiful and bringing in that renewal, that sense of healing. And I think that it is about you recognizing where you now need to make a life edit, you know. So Virgo does put a firm focus in and around the way that we're taking care of ourselves. It's that beautiful earth medicine. And it's helping you to get a perspective on perhaps some of the things that you have maybe known for some time haven't really been working in the best way for you, and now you've probably hit that crisis point where it's like, okay, something's got to give, something's got to change here. Now the thing with September is it is delivering this real breath of fresh air, okay? We're also going to be welcoming in the equinox later this month, so there is going to be a rebalancing of your equilibrium. You know, it's all about how you put things in order so that they're working for you and not against you. And in that third house activation, it's very much about the words that you're choosing, the thoughts that you're thinking, and how you really want to deliver that message, not only to yourself, but also to the people around you. And as we welcome the star to open up your reading, there is a suggestion that you are coming from a kind of soothing perspective. You know, this is not a forceful or kind of volatile or angry energy. Now, in the backdrop, in the context of kind of what's playing out with Mars and Aries, and particularly as it moves retrograde on the 9th, you can expect that there's certainly going to be some disruption kicking off around you. But what this is suggesting to me is that actually you're kind of cocooning in a way, Cancer. You know, I feel like you want to distance yourself from any of the drama, and it's very much about wanting to tend to the details and really sort of figure out how you can keep detoxifying your own energy field so that you can be that peaceful warrior, you know. And that kind of approach is going to work really well to start to see some incredible progress and gain for you this month, because what we're seeing is both Jupiter and Saturn are waking up from their retrograde transits. And it's almost like, you know, the floodgates are going to open, and what comes through is a wealth of choice and different options that are now going to be available to you moving forward. Now, there's a beautiful spiritual energy that's coming forth here with the star and the Seven of Cups combined. And so I think you're coming at this, or you're certainly deciding that you want to look at the highest expression of energy that you can bring to any given situation. That's going to make a difference in terms of the way that you want to do things. So remember, we talk about this idea of force versus flow. When Mars moves retrograde, it's not a time to force anything. Now, Mars in Aries is in your 10th house of career, Cancer. And because we're seeing some really beautiful trines showing up this month, which are set to deliver some rewards for the effort that you have been putting in, what we're seeing is that actually this is a time to let things flow towards you. Okay, that's where the blessings are set to come in, the expansion, the growth. You know, it allows you to see things that you perhaps missed first time around, or all of a sudden something that's been held back or delayed gets the green light. And so you should find yourself recognizing some notable gains, some really tangible rewards this month, which I think is going to boost your sense of confidence and restore some optimism, perhaps in an area that might have felt like it taken a bit of a hit in terms of your belief, and maybe some self-doubt that might have been creeping in. Now we've got a full moon in the sign of Pisces coming in on the 2nd of the month. It's sextile to Uranus, so it brings in some unexpected, could be quite exciting change, definitely, as it illuminates your 9th house of expansion and overseas connections. For some of you, particularly in the realm of what you may be doing in and around work, or particularly if you're trying to advance your education, to learn new things, to just really kind of set out with a completely different vision for your life and how you want it to be. So that Pisces full moon really being illuminated and showing you, I think, where the next step that you want to make is going to come from, okay? Now, the Seven of Cups does suggest that there can be a little bit of overwhelm, and you are a fellow water sign, so that full moon in Pisces shouldn't feel like it's going to have you kind of drowning, but at the same time, I just want you to be aware that there's a slightly impatient energy around it. So if you either find that someone else is sort of trying to push an agenda or to elicit a particular response from you, or maybe some of you are feeling like that's what you're having to do, or you're finding yourself in the energy of towards somebody else, just be aware that that kind of a energy vibration is got the potential to be a little problematic, okay? So you could just feel like there's just a little bit of a tricky challenge that you need to navigate in and around that. Remember, Mars moving retrograde on the 9th, but we're already in the shadow of it and working with that energy now, doesn't want you to force anything. So if that means that you have to step back to give yourself time, to give yourself some space, or somebody else, then make sure you're taking advantage of that. Because a lot of the things that we're going to be planning and considering through this month of September have this real vibe of permanence around them, okay? So you're putting the foundations, you're setting seeds, you're putting into motion the thoughts and the strategies that really are going to take you forward over the next few years, Cancer. So we've got Six of Swords coming in, and it really has been a bit of a rite of passage for you, and the nice thing about September is it is a little bit of a still point, so you are able to just stop and reflect and take some time to actually integrate and to process. And that's really important. There's a powerful kind of potency where you need to figure out what's relevant, what your medicine is, and what it has been in all of this. And that's really going to help you to rebalance your energy. So don't skip that step. It's almost like a pilgrimage to your soulful sovereign state. That's what came through in the moon musings for that full moon in Pisces for us all. And Six of Swords does suggest that you just might need some time out, or there may be a little bit of emotional distance required with people in your life, not necessarily romantic. This could come in on a friendship or something to do with family. We have Mercury moving into Libra on the 5th of the month, and obviously we move into Libra season later on from the 22nd, and that is activating your 4th house of family. So perhaps there's some changes or something to reflect or consider going on in that area of your life right now, Cancer. And again, I think you just need to take the time to really figure out if there are any life edits that you wish to make at this point in time. But remember, you're going to be constantly trying to get that right balance between the force and the flow. So there's times where you're going to feel like you need to take some inspired action, you need to move forward, and actually the Six of Swords does suggest that you will do that, but effectively this month. And then there's also going to be a time to just stop and let things come to you, okay? So Four of Cups comes in and suggests that there is the potential to be very distracted through this month, and sometimes Mars retrograde can hit us on our motivation levels a little bit. And if that is the case for you, just be aware of anything that kind of comes in a little bit too shiny or too good to be true, or trying to tempt you away from what your focus should be this month, okay? It is, however, also a time to be recognizing where you can seize opportunity. And because we do have a real focus around some sweet rewards coming in, and some growth in the areas that you've been really looking to see, then if the energy is flowing really favorably, and it aligns with what your strategy and your kind of bigger purpose is, then that's fantastic. You know, it's going to play out differently for each and every one of you. Now, the Nine of Wands coming in at the centre of your reading is bringing in a little bit of tiredness in and around your energy. So I think there is a cause of a drain somewhere. I think some of you might be acutely aware of who or what is causing that drain. For others, I think you just need to pay a little bit of attention, and Virgo will help you to do that. You know, that it's a very healing energy to work with. And, you know, sometimes when we're getting into a very anxious state in our thought forms, because Virgo activates your third house, which is naturally ruled by Gemini, so it's that mental body that we're dealing with, that can be really draining. You know, if you're going over and over something in your mind, or trying to figure out a solution, or perhaps going over something that has played out, or trying to figure out the right approach and how you're going to have an important conversation or deal with a particular thing, that can really take its toll on you. So look, the wounded warrior of the night, the Nine of Wands, is coming in and saying, look, everything that you have done up to this point has not been in vain, Cancer, okay? And we do need to just give it one final push, but there may be a moment where you just need to take a breath and take a rest. And actually, again, like we said, that Mars retrograde can be really helpful energy to give ourselves the chance to do that, to coast for a little while, to ride the wave, and to just maybe narrow our focus somewhat. Now, it does also indicate to me that I think we have a little bit of an opposing perspective on something, okay? Just some of the energy that I'm picking up here. And so I feel like if you are battling to try and get somebody on board with your way of thinking, or you're at a crossroads with someone in terms of differing agendas or completely different points of view, again, that star energy is coming in to sort of bring a little bit of healing energy into the situation. But there's a suggestion here for me that through this month of September, it might require a little bit of time out. It might require a little bit of distance, not necessarily physical distance, but just almost like leaving the conversation that's really problematic, or, you know, not pushing, not trying to manipulate or coerce anything. So that you can actually just allow things to start to flow towards you. Now, your Empress energy, again, linking into that beautiful Earth trine that's coming forward, suggestive of the blessings that are on their way to you. And yes, not everything might come in its full manifestation this month, but we are looking at the real and the tangible in September. And I think that is going to feel like something that you're really ready for. So you need to pay close attention that actually you're kind of aware of that, and you're open to the receiving of it, okay? Now, there is something here that's also showing me again that when we look at things that are happening closer to home, Cancer, okay? So for some of you, that might be in your immediate family environment, might be connected to your children, or even into that close soul family, you know, the relationships romantically, or the friendships that are around you, people that you're working with. So there is a shift and a rebalancing that has to take place in order for you to continue to do what you're doing and feel good about it. So how that relates to your individual situation, take some time to think about that and see how it's showing up, because what I'm feeling is that you're probably set to just have a little bit of an overwhelm where it's like, okay, I can't continue to carry on in this way, trying to either split my energy or keep too many people happy, or, you know, where I've just really, you know, I've got this almost tear in my auric field and there's just a constant drain that's happening, okay? So this is a kind of clear out month. And it's also a month where you're going to start to see things knitting together in a more beautiful way as well. So as you become aware of where the energy is in both of these different areas, it's going to help you to get surer and clearer about what it is that you need to do, okay? And you need to have some real sense of self-belief around that as well, Cancer. Just have the courage of your convictions. Don't be afraid to just really put yourself first in that instance, because actually it will serve everybody else around you as well, okay? Having a sense of gratitude for being able to do the things that you want to do in the way that you need to do them in order to honour your energy is really going to be the best approach as we look through this month of September, okay? So on the 13th, Jupiter moves direct, and then a few days after that we welcome a new moon in Virgo, and here the sun also trines with Saturn, and it's bringing in again this beautiful sense of achievement. It's a fantastic time to consider the way you want to perhaps communicate or articulate something that's going on in your world. Okay, sometimes launches around Mars retrograde aren't the best time. However, if you've got something that's already in motion and the energy's playing out and it's working favorably, now's the time to almost be a little bit more receptive and say, okay, well, I've done all the hard work here. You know, your star, your empress, even your hanging man, all beautifully deep, divine, spiritually connected energies that want you to just to pause, to reflect, and to almost be in that quiet, receptive energy, okay? This is not a time to strive and put like all of the blood, sweat and tears in. Hopefully you've done it already up to this point, or you need to be in the time of evaluation on how you can approach things in a better way for when you are ready to launch and take that big leap forward, okay? But the hanging man is also suggestive of you releasing something to allow something to come in, okay? And I think that you're putting yourself in that place. So I'm not really picking up that this is coming in necessarily as something that's supposed to block or delay you. If you are experiencing that energy, however, Cancer, then do take a moment to just say, all right, where am I being invited to stop? And to just take some time out and perhaps to recharge. But in some instances, I feel like you're allowing yourself to be put in this particular energy state because you're aware that there's something really valuable that you're going to gain from it. You know, it's about being able to look at a situation from a completely fresh perspective and allow a sacrifice to be made for the greater good, you know. So it's almost like you will make a decision, you will make this life edit, you know, perhaps in more than one area through this month of September, but you know it's going to serve you and the people that you care for really favourably in the long term. So the card of the moon comes in, and of course we do have that Pisces full moon coming in on the 2nd of the month. So pay attention as to what is playing out in and around that time for you, because I think the revelation, remember full moons are always about a time of release but also revelation. So where the light is being illuminated for you is something that you do need to pay attention to, because it's going to make a difference in terms of the way that you're able to receive something. And I think that's because what is going to happen is you should start to see some really good indicators of the hard work that you've invested and the way that you want to make changes and now see new opportunities showing up. And the thing is, if you're not perhaps in the mindset of believing that things are about to turn around, you know, for example, if you've had a real endurance test and a particularly arduous journey up to this point, and perhaps you're still in survivor mode, perhaps you're still feeling like you're putting out, you know, fires all over the place, then it's almost like you can miss where things are starting to bloom and where the harvest is ready to be received. You know, and you don't want it to get overripe and like miss your chance here. So I think the moon is here to just remind you that it's really important where your focus is going to come in. I think between the moon and the 7 of Cups, it does indicate to me as well, Cancer, that there is a bit of a situation through this month of September that has you feeling a little bit disorientated in some regard. And that may be because of someone else's behaviour or just the way something has played out around you. You will get perspective, and remember that equinox energy that comes in with Libra on the 22nd is about helping you to find your equilibrium with something, okay? So don't feel that that is going to be hanging around for too long, but there's always something valuable even when we find ourselves in that kind of a vibe, you know, because you've got Two of Swords here, so perhaps there is a decision or a choice that's required. And again, I think that's where you're kind of almost putting yourself in that suspended place before you make a judgment on something, because you're aware of the permanence of that decision is kind of what it feels, you know. And perhaps before you do make that decision, you want to just see the impact of both of these planets, Jupiter and Saturn, moving direct, and what what they're going to deliver in for you in terms of those areas that you've really been integrating on an internal level. And that's important, because you don't want to give up on something and then find that you were almost there, which kind of is a suggestion with the Nine of Wands. You know, you're just almost at it's like the last mile is the hardest mile, you know. And again, if this is connected to relationships, and perhaps, you know, for some of you, you are taking some distance or some time out just to reevaluate or think something through. Again, you're going to find yourself in a place of feeling more enriched in that sacred space that you've allowed for yourself, and therefore your thought process and how you're coming at something is going to be much clearer, and that, I think, is going to be really important. Now, for those of you who relationships are strong and things are building and moving in the direction that you want, this may well be playing out in another area of your life. You could be just finding this is very much to do with your own growth on your own spiritual journey right now, or something happening in and around your family. But ultimately, the Two of Swords does indicate that there's a choice to make, and the choice here is about how you can, you know, invite in more balance, because the Two of Swords links into the sign of Libra, so it's a real big focus around that equinox. And I think that it's going to be in and around that time of September that you find this is playing out for you, or merging from your subconscious into your conscious awareness, Cancer. Okay, what you need to recognize in that moment is what is true for you, not what is true for anybody else. Okay, because the moon suggests that there may be conflicting stories, there may be some deception, uncertainty, people putting forward what their own agenda is in any given situation, and it might still be from a really well-meaning place. I'm not saying otherwise, but you have to dig deeper and really allow your intuition to be in the driving seat this month, to make sure that those decisions, and if you are about to make that, you know, life edit that we're seeing coming up for you, whether it be this month or as we move forward toward the end of the year, that you're doing it in a way that feels really in alignment with where you want to go. Okay, I'm not picking up any regret coming through in this reading, so I do feel that actually your Empress energy is standing as a really powerful guide to nurture the thoughts that you're having, and to make sure that you're in quite a protected space. Now, she also is linked into Venus, and remember, Venus is still in your sign for the first part of it. Doesn't move into Leo until the 6th of the month, so, you know, end of August, if you're watching this reading at this time, and that first part of September, you've still got Venus working favorably, supporting you in the areas of abundance, of your romantic relationships, and really helping you to see progress and invite in the next level. And I think there's also something about the idea of it being next level that I'm picking up for you here as well, because the star energy indicates to me that you're setting your sights really high with something. So whether that is about, you know, your job prospects, you know, what you're trying to achieve in your career, remember Mars, Aries, all in the 10th house for you. Maybe it's about what you're doing in your own business, or even if it's something that you're taking on to advance or better yourself. I see you setting your sights really high, and, you know, being prepared to put the work in. And actually there's high levels of abundance that are available to you, but it does require some commitment and some perseverance is what I'm going to say. So remember that word, perseverance. You're going to feel more than once through this month of September that you don't have it, but I'm telling you that you do. So you need to access those emotional tools, remember how far you've come on your journey, realize the things that are really important to you. And, you know, even if this is in regards to relationships, just as I look at that kind of red rose that's being shown to me here, I think it's wanting better for yourself. You know, it's demonstrating, articulating what you want, what you need, you know, and being able to really do that in a way that is fair and balanced to the other party, because I think there's also a recognition that we're all just trying to find our way just now. We're all trying to deal with this you know, relentless energy shift of 2020 that's kind of not really got any slowing down, and September's probably the most still point that we're going to find. So this is the right time to be having some of those conversations and really talking to the people who are important in your life about what it is that you need. But again, perseverance to make sure that you're not giving up on something that, you know, perhaps just needed a little bit more patience, a little bit more healing energy, or the opportunity to just have some time out to self-reflect. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what the oracle cards are, just to reflect your main reading. Now on the 29th is when Saturn moves direct. The same day we also have the second of 3 oppositions. So Mars squares Saturn on the 29th. It did this also on the 24th of August, and it will happen again in January. So bear in mind whatever was going on around that date of the 24th. For some of you, you are going to be revisiting that theme, okay? And again in January. So it's just something to keep in mind toward the end of this month as well. So your oracle card linking into the number 8, which connects into the card of strength in the tarot, okay? So as I look at this, I'm also just being given the word strength. Into me, I see. So a lot of the answers, a lot of the introspection that's going to take place. Remember, Virgo links into the Hermit card in the tarot. So it is about that higher wisdom that we're trying to access in order to heal, in order to evolve, to expand. And really beautiful energies that surround her. Very protective, and kind of links into and looks very similar to the figure in the energy of the star card here. So, you know, I know what you have been through, what you have endured in a particular situation has probably felt like it's taken you to the point where you don't have anything left to give. And yet this is where a whole nother level of energy is going to become available to you. And perhaps I think there's something here for you to think about, Cancer. You know, the way that you access your energy reserves, you know, on a physical human level in the 3D, it's about getting enough sleep, nurturing your body with the right you know, food, and making sure you're hydrated, and that you're surrounding yourself with positive people, and that you're exercising, you're taking care of your physical health. But there's also another layer of how we charge up and access more energy, and that comes from the divine. That's about being able to connect into an unlimited source of higher, lighter vibrational energy that can and will sustain you through any time where you feel particularly drained. So as you're trying to detoxify your energy field, which I think is going to be important as you navigate your way through this month, you're also going to be guided to really sort of take that course of action as well. And one of the things that, you know, mediums, healers, psychics, you know, intuitives do on a regular basis is sit in the power. And if that's not something you're familiar with, I would take some time to look into it and make your own ritual and create something that feels good to you in your own sacred space, to enable you to sit in the power and really connect and be charged up. And for many people that might also involve, you know, being out in nature a little bit more, just making sure you're really aware of the environment that you're around, so that you can draw in the goodness of, you know, that kind of environment. Yeah. Answers are coming from within though. Just be aware of that, and don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed by anything that's being offered to you on the external. So your crystal energy card for this month is amber. Really beautiful, incredibly protective energy, but also very abundant. The orange colour here just linking in powerfully to your sacral chakra, helping to awaken that creativity, awaken that beautiful kundalini energy, and really deliver and harness energy from the sun. And that's really beautiful, because particularly for those of us in the northern hemisphere, as we're coming into September and the, you know, the light changes, there can be less of that natural daylight to harness and to charge us up. And so perhaps that's something that's going to be really important to you. And I do just get a feeling that you're going to be more sensitive, I think, to light through this month of September. So just very aware that you're needing to get as much kind of daylight as you possibly can. But amber is stone to work with you to help draw towards you the abundance that is rightfully yours, put you into a mindset of feeling deserving and entitled to the rewards of all of the hard work and investment that you've put in every area of your life. You know, if you've been doing the work on yourself, then you're absolutely deserving of having a conscious, healthy, you know, loving relationship. You're absolutely deserving of having the next level of abundance come towards you or new opportunities come in. And amber, I think, is just going to help to lock in that kind of a narrative with you. And, you know, because we're working with that third house illumination in Virgo season, just around the way that you write, the way that you express yourself, for any of you that are working on anything regarding writing, it's going to be a very favourable month for you to get things finalized, completed, kind of tied up. So just keep that in mind as well. And with the nice rewards and gain that are coming through, it feels positive. So your yogic card is Durga. And again, I'm just kind of linking into the red energy that's here, okay? And it feels like it's reminding us of that transit with Mars as well, okay? I mean, Mars retrograde can, you know, really bring in a lot of positivity, but it can also be a little problematic and, you know, bring about some conflict. And, you know, your own personal experiences are something that you need to tune in and be really mindful of, because there's so much to teach you in this particular time, okay? And just remember that idea of being the peaceful warrior, okay? There's just something that we need to keep in mind here. Just as I kind of look at all of the arms that are coming out, and forgive me, I don't actually know the full detail behind all of these cards, which is such a beautiful deck. I wanted to bring it into this month's reading. So I'm sure many of you will have much a clearer idea of the true origin and energy surrounded by this particular deity. But for me, when I look at this, there's just so much options. Again, there's opportunities, there's different ways forward, there's things that you're going to have to consider really carefully to make sure that the choices that you're making are putting the right foundations down for you, okay? And all of these eyes awakened, this is about what you now, I think we touched upon that last month, you know, now that you know, what are you going to do differently, and how are you going to really embody that change, and how are you going to allow or disallow things in your life moving forward, okay? It's a big month of review, of planning, of strategizing things, and actually really starting to see where things are going to come together for you, okay? So a lot to kind of work with through this month. Now, this is a general reading, Cancer, and we are going to go ahead and pull you some cards for the extended version. So do let me know how this plays out. Make sure that you revisit the reading throughout the month, because for each and every one of you, the insights and messages may play out on a different timeline, and what doesn't make sense right now may really start to show up or come to fruition at different stages. So it's always worth doing that. Now, if you have not received an answer for a specific question that you were looking for, I'd invite you to just put a focus upon that now, and I'll go ahead and pull us a couple of cards for it. And you can find the link for the extended reading in the description box or the comment section underneath the video. And it really helps me to continue to do the work on the channel. So any of you that support me with the extended, deep gratitude. But even dropping me a like and a comment against the readings and making sure you're subscribed is also a great way to just show your support. So thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and clarify this main 9-card block. So just beginning with the energy of the star. And we have the Page of Cups here. Okay. We also have Justice coming in, linking into the sign of Libra. But again, I have such a strong pull toward the equinox energy for you this month, Cancer, and how it's going to impact. Now, Knight of Pentacles here, that earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn or Taurus, just clarifying that Seven of Cups, which is kind of nice because I feel like it's balancing it out a little bit, which might be needed because perhaps there is overwhelm or you're taking on too much. There's your Strength card that was picked up in your oracle. I thought that might make an appearance. Could also be a Leo energy as well. That might be significant for some of you. So, Six of Swords, and we have a King of Wands coming in here. Again, fire energy, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. Okay, we have another king coming in, King of Swords here. Interesting. Maybe for some of you, this is what the choice is between. Two different people, two different energies, two very different options. I will say that. What you're looking at, it's not like you could split hairs with them. I think they're complete opposites here. Okay, Four of Cups, Seven of Wands. Okay, card of the Lovers coming in here. Could well be a Gemini with the King of Swords and the Lovers showing up here, or just the focus that's in and around relationships for some of you. Remember, with Jupiter and Saturn moving direct, they are in your 7th house, so we are going to see some changes, big decisions that you've come to during that retrograde time, what it means for you moving forward. I kind of think something has to give, you know, with that Nine of Wands in the Tower, it's just like, you know, something will give. But look, you know, Empress coming in again here for you, so somebody definitely wants to offer you something this month, Cancer. Okay, World card coming in here. There is this quality of just time out that's coming up, you know, as a sort of undercurrent to things. And let's just go back briefly to that force versus flow. So that is going to be important. Emperor card here, okay. Husband, boss, male figure in your life perhaps, but I think there's also something else that's going on with that. We'll explore it in the extended. Okay, so you've got 3 kings now in this read. It's almost like you're making a decision between 2 options, and a third one's also going to make itself known to you, which is perhaps why you're going to feel a little bit held back before you make the final cut or the final edit. Interesting. Okay, card of Judgment, yeah. Perfect. Okay, Cancer, thank you so much for joining me. Please do drop me any feedback and let me know how this plays out for you in the month of September. I wish you beautiful blessings. If you're joining me for the extended, I look forward to continuing this narrative with you then. Take good care. Bye for now.